What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here around One Sports TV. I am always your host, Edwin. Where do all fights start?
Round one.
And you know we're always back with
Another one.
you know how we do. So, fight fans, listen up. We are days out from this Brian Norman Jr. Devin Haney fight, which it seems to be like the fight that's taking over the card. It seems to be one of the fights that's taking more of the headlines everywhere. A lot of people are talking about David the Monster Benavides, the yard fight. Shit. Even some other channels are talking about Bam Rodriguez. There are other fights on the card, Abdullah Mason and Sam Notes. But I think the one that is mostly talked about is the one that they say, oh, he ain't shit. Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. And they're saying that Brian Norman Jr. is the next great thing. So we're going to break down this fight. I want to see what you guys have to think. We have a lot of boxing to talk about. Anything you would like to talk about too, and there is more things on this Naoya Inoue cat too. I've been finding out today. So all that and more. Let's get right into this episode. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about this Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. Has your mind changed? Or are you still picking your guy? Let's find out. Well. If it isn't the old 50-50 fight. Man, for as much as scrutiny that Devin Haney has gotten late, he seems to be the talk of the town right now with his selection of opponent, which is Brian Norman Jr., which a lot of us is deeming a worthy scalp on both ends. Devin Haney being the more accomplished of the two fighters, but Brian Norman Jr. is on fire. I mean, on fire. The way he's been knocking out his opponents, and a lot can be said from some of his opponents. So we'll be breaking down both fighters. Now, Devin Haney, respectfully so, needs no introduction, I don't think, into the world of boxing. Devin Haney has made a name for himself in the sport by becoming one of the youngest, if not the youngest, undisputed champion the sport has ever seen. And that was at 135 pounds. He's been trying to mirror his success in a newfound weight division at 140. But tragedy struck there and foul play when it was revealed that Ryan Garcia tested positive for Ostrine. The victory was short-lived for Ryan Garcia, and Devin Haney got his O back and the verdict overturned. So from there, Devin Haney is building to pick up the pieces in which he thought was going to be a surefire showdown clash once again with Ryan Garcia, but Ryan Garcia failed to complete on his half of negotiation by losing to Rolly Ramirez. And here we are. Devin Haney was left out on the wing, not able to necessarily get his get back, but where does he go from here? So now Devin Haney and Bill Haney have set their sights on the 147-pound weight division, and they called out Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman Jr. is currently the 147-pound WBO champion, and he accepted the challenge. So, what does Devin Haney and Bill Haney know that we, the rest of the boxing world, don't know? And why are they so confident in picking him out? What is it about Brian Norman Jr. that tells them that this was the way to go? And throughout Devin Haney, last few performances, well, let's just go to Jose Ramirez. Let's get right to it, right? He didn't look the best. So coming off that performance against Jose Ramirez, What tells you he's ready for a hard-hitting, decent boxer in Brian Norman Jr.? Now, I checked out Brian Norman Jr.'s amateur career. I went back. He has a better amateur career than I thought, right? Now, the problem with Brian Norman Jr. is what I see is not all amateur boxers transition to the pros that fast. And not all amateur boxers that were not really all that successful in the amateurs, they can turn out to be a hellified pro. There are amateur boxers, they don't have amateur styles. They were more catered to pro styles, so they do way better in the pros. And some amateurs have a lot of amateur habits they don't get rid of in the pros. It's just like that. So Brian Norman Jr. seems to be changing his amateur style and pro style like if it would go for a normal, regular boxer. But he's had some early success. As you can see how young he is right now, he's already a world champion. Devin Haney knows what that's like. Now, in this sport, there's several things we have to keep in mind. And one of the things is experience. The moment. Will the lights be too bright? Will the moment be too big for either of these fighters? Out there in Riyadh, they don't have home field advantage. The crowd will cheer for whoever they want, and you will have to perform. Has any of these guys ever been in a situation like that? And in fact, both men have. So I don't think the lights are going to be too bright. The moment's going to be too big. And being away from home is going to matter to any of these two guys. Both men have traveled afar already in their careers. So we'll take that out of the equation. Then we take experience. Well, 12-round fights. Who has the more 12-round fights? Devin Haney has the more 12-round fights. Who fought the more world champions? Devin Haney fought more world champions. Who has more titles? Devin Haney has more titles. You start to break some of these things down. Now, not all these things spell victory. No. Okay, Devin Haney, you accomplished some shit. I can see. But as far as this weight division, here, you're not proven. You didn't do all of that shit here. It's not like we're talking about the Devin Haney from the 147-pound weight division that unified and was undisputed status at 147 once upon a time and maybe vacated the belt and he's back. No, we're not talking like that. We're talking about an uncharted shark's water. You've never been here. But this guy, Brian Norman Jr., this is where he lives. This is his address. This is his division. In fact, I went today on BoxRec and I was checking out the champions. Why is Mario Barrios' WBC title vacated? There's no WBC champ. And then if you go to BoxRec, the records, they still got Mario Barrio as the champion. So I don't know who's wrong here, but according to BoxRec, Mario Barrio is not the WBC champion. That would be news to me. Now, I've been a little bit out of the loop on boxing, but I'm getting back in the swing of things. And I got to check out some, things. I got to look shit up again. I miss that one? Because I thought he was trying to renegotiate against Manny Pacquiao for the Manny Pacquiao 2 fight. The only way Manny Pacquiao would fight him is because he would have value, the WBC. The minute he loses that WBC, Mario Barrio turns back into a pumpkin. That's it. Where you got, yeah. No, no, no. See, the one thing about being Muslim and being religious, you have to be honest. You can't be one of the top Muslims and showing all the Muslims you're cheating. I don't think that they would applaud you. So it took a sport and money to corrupt your heart. Are you really a believer in their faith? They make their money off the oil, whatever. Okay, but still, they're still religious. And I don't think in their religion it says, cheat for Devin Haney. He is Muslim. Yay. I'm not sure if it works that way because other Muslim brothers, real believers, are looking on. And you don't have to be blind to see a fucking setup or, the wrong guy. Whoa, wait a minute. Y'all, what's going on here? With y'all fucking falling in corruption with boxing? They're going to make them cut that boxing shit out. If boxing's corrupting them, they're going to, they're going to cut it out like a cancer. The higher Muslim ups because their religion above everything. Their religion is above everything, bro. So I don't think it works that way, bro. I really don't. I don't think they can cheat. I mean, people can do whatever they want, but, even the Pope and the Catholic Church, if one of them dudes is doing something on a lower level or some shit, they find out, the real Catholic steps in, you're done. On some level, they never find out about that. That never gets back to their ear. They try to cut it off, stop the bleeding before it gets up there. But the real deal Catholic Church, they find out about your doing under their name. You lucky if they don't put a stick right up your ass and fucking put you out in front of a building and parade you. You might be lucky if they don't do that shit to you. Them dudes is ruthless. They tax their own people in their own land all over that Roman, they got their own police, their own army, their own government, their own law. Nothing governs them people. How powerful do you have to be, right? When I was a kid, I wasn't a kid, I was like a mid-adult, right? I was like in my 20s or something when this happened, I think. When Bill Clinton was president, right? Right? Fox Network, what they wanted to do was start filming death row executions, right? And at 12 midnight, they were going to kill the dude by, I think, lethal injection or whatever. And the Fox Network had bought the rights to film that and televise it. And there was like a poll or whatever. Is America going to shit? We need to stop this, like where we're going. So the clock was ticking. It was like 11 something. All of a sudden, Bill Clinton got a phone call from someone that told him, you need to stop this. Put an end to this right now. Do not let that air. The person that called Bill Clinton was the Pope. The Pope called the president, got through. That's some shit, right? Like you got the Pope. I don't even think he got the president's number, but how the hell did they get it? He calls the president, yo, you need to put a stop to this. Bill Clinton is Catholic. The head Catholic called you. You got to do what he says. He put an end to that shit like this. Boop. Fox never aired it. They never aired the execution that night. They had all the cameras there. It was all set up, ready to go. The president of the United States called and said, shut that shit down. They shut it down. Boom. Done. Who got it shut down? Right there. So, she, that's power. That's some power right there, man. I'm telling you. But like, hold on. Like, I don't think that religion is I think if anything, the religion keeps it honest to a certain degree. Yeah, if them dudes is found out to be corrupted in any way, anything that corrupts you, they're gonna either say you can't govern it, it's not for you, or they're gonna make you shut it down. So that's what's gonna happen because it's at a world stage. You got these people throwing events and shit. That's what made some religions and some soldiers weak in other people's eyes. Yeah. The fact that you wouldn't kill for money. You won't kill women and children. You won't kill you're not willing to do grimy shit. And there's other people that say, "Yes, I'll do that grimy shit. I got no problem with it. Yup, I'll kill 100 people, women, children, whatever. Just pay me the right money." And there's other people that have morals. The Japanese people live by a lot of morals, but type shit, meet me on the battlefield. And they had to develop new traits. Here comes the ninja. You know what I'm saying? Because the ninja was like, yo, we ain't gonna be suckers. Fuck that. Like, y'all just killing us. Y'all got guns, we got swords, y'all shooting us. So you gotta evolve. You know what I'm saying? So I think that religion in this matter with Devin Haney being a Muslim, I think uh Devin Haney's on his own. He's on his own. Yeah. And Brian Norman Jr., I think it's at this point for them, it's about the entertainment and the money. Yeah, it's about controlling the next great fighter. The one good thing about these Saudi people and the Saudi prince is that they control all the cards, all the fighters. Everybody on their card, even the A side and the B side, they're paying. That means basically they would be, if they were to cheat, they'd only be cheating themselves. Because either way, if Brian Norman Jr. wins, they win. If Devin Haney wins, they win. Because now they control the winner. So whoever wins, they win. Why would they cheat? Why would they put the fix in for Devin? If either way, they got the next best thing. They control David the Monster Benavidez. They control Yard. They control Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney, Bam Bam Rodriguez, all of them. All of them. Top Rank works with him. They control Top Rank. Everybody on that card except David the Monster Benavidez, yes, with the PBC. He just worked. This, I guess, is his first. But you got to understand, they're paying him right now. It's not like the PBC is going up against Top Rank or the PBC is going up against um um Frank Warren and Queensbridge. It's not like that. Once they signed to that, they already like kind of like saying they pimped off their fighters to Riyadh. So their promoters must have already got paid. Now the fighters are in a contract with them for just this event. So right now, in the contract, whoever wins, they own. They're gonna win. This is their night, their card, everything. It's really unprecedented. Like, so for them to cheat, to fabricate a winner for what? They're trying to cash in on the night. That's what they got to do. They put 4 titles up to do that. They're going to entertain all those rich Muslim people out there that's going to come out and put mad money on his fight. They got it in Riyadh. There's gonna be Japanese people there, Chinese, all kind of rich people dropping stacks. They got huge casinos, big events. They're gonna throw a nice little party, respectfully. Ain't gonna be no American type shit, a boob flying out. They might be real closed up. You're not gonna see any skin type shit, but you're gonna have a great time. And I think on certain parts, I think they allowing alcohol. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that because they might not. Oh no. Maybe if you pay enough money, maybe you could have it on the low. I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it. I've never been out there. I can't, I would only be guessing. But I know they have rules. And it was apparent. Like when you saw the first card in Riyadh and they had like the girls come out, they were like fully dressed. Look, it was so much apparent that you can't seduce the crowd in a fight, that in New York City they didn't have ring card girls. They had like people dressed up as like celebrities because they don't want no ass and tits as a ring card girl coming out. For them, they can't seduce you. You're not supposed to be watching that. Them dudes got wives and everything and shit. They got like their 5 wives, 10 wives. Their 5 wives don't want to see them watching some chick. You can't do that. You can't be disrespectful. No, you're a shitbag in their eyes. So their religion, the Muslim religion, man, they kind of tough, bro. I know that they pray certain way, point it with their carpet, everything, and they do that shit faithfully. So that cheating shit, that would be on a world stage. I'm not sure they can do that and still wake up the next day and be like the Muslim leaders. It's okay for you to fucking cheat when it's for money, like F our God, F our religion, F everything. Like it's yeah, that's okay. It's for boxing. We could fix a fight. I don't think it works that way. I don't know. What do I know? I'm not sure if it works that way. You gotta lead by example, right? Ain't that what religion is? Right? I know there's a lot of cracks, and I don't like to talk about religion. Well, let's please don't get into that here. 2 things I don't talk about: politics and religion. And it seems like I touched on both of them today. All right, I had a president in mind already. All kinds of shit. The show's going crazy, but no, that's how it is and shit, man. And I think you have to lead by example. That's all. Yeah. But as far as the fight goes, Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr., come on, guys. If Devin Haney shows up, Brian Norman Jr. is in a little trouble. He's in a little trouble. If you got an engaging, and I repeat, engaging Devin Haney, that is like, he fought Linares, he fought Loma, he fought George Camboza twice. Devin, he knows how to fight. And Devin's on his A game fighting, that guy can fight, man. Devin can fight. He's gonna pick Brian Norman Jr. apart. Now, if Brian Norman Jr. can disrupt Devin Haney's flow and bully him and go in on the inside and rough him up, beat him up a little, drop some good shots on him, make him second guessing, make him hesitant, keep applying that pressure and get to that chin, that's another possibility that could happen. Without a doubt, without a doubt. And but like I said, got the sniffles here. Like I said, I'm not sure at 100% what version of Devin Haney we're gonna get. I'm not I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, oh no, Devin Haney's he's gonna show up, et cetera, because to tell you the truth, I just dropped the link right there in the chat. What to tell you the truth, what worries me about Devin Haney is that he's saying the same old, same old. Same shit he was saying with Ryan Garcia. Same shit. It looks like, and that kind of worries me. It's like, kid, who are you trying to convince? Us or yourself? You know? And I don't know. I don't know. I think that Devin Haney is I think that Devin Haney, man, he's a great fighter. I just want him to prove to the world, win, lose, or draw, that Devin Haney's back. That he can fight like we once saw him fight. Devin can fight, man. Devin can fight. He didn't just walk out of bed and is a 2-division world champion and an undisputed world champion for nothing. Just remember, the great Vasily Lomachenko refused to fight a 19-year-old Devin Haney and vacated his belt to him. He chose to fight Teo. Devin had to be something that they saw as a problem. When Devin's flowing and he's clicking on all cylinders, Devin's a problem. Yeah, he is. And he's always been a big kid. One of the one things is that, remember, we've all been saying it. Everybody, Devin Haney's a weight bully. Devin Haney's a lot bigger than these guys. So Devin Haney moving up to 147 is kind of telling me that he should be able to make that size and that weight comfortably. Didn't we see Hamza Shari come up one weight division and beat the crap out of Edgar Berlanga? And he looked like the bigger guy. Like Edgar looked like the guy moving up. And we thought that the smaller fighter was going to move up and that the weight advantage would, be a factor at least. Shit, that wasn't shit for Hamza, man. Could it be the same way for Devin? See, Devin already fought at 144. 3 more pounds that way, but it's not 3 pounds, guys, and I know it. It's not 3 pounds. That's about a 15 to 18 pound jump. When he fought at 144, he was 15 to 18 pounds away from the 147. Why do I say that? Because naturally, these fighters that fight at 147 are cutting weight to make 147. When they rehydrate, you got to give them the other 10, 12, 15 pounds. You got to tack on the 3 that he has, plus them 12 or 15. That's where the 18, 15 pounds come from. He can't rehydrate and gain 1 pound. Devin, he'd be screwed. Because Brian Norman Jr. is going to come into that fight anywhere between 158, 156, up there. He's not going to weigh 147 on the day of the fight. You got to give him at least 10 pounds to rehydrate, right? That's on an average. Devin was putting on upwards of, ridiculous. He fought at 168 when he fought Regis Progress, I think, or some shit like that, for that 140-pound fight. On the night of the fight, he weighed in at like 168. Devin. 167 or some shit, I remember. They called him a huge weight bully. It was like a 23-pound jump when he fought Regis. And I'm just giving the basic 10 to 12 pounds. So when he weighed in at 144, he was actually like 15, 18 pounds off from fighting Brian Norman Jr. when he replenishes. You see what I'm saying? But I gotta see it. I gotta see how he fills in, Devin. I gotta see how he fills in. I was watching his training videos closely, but All training videos, the guys look amazing at this level. They always look amazing. You're hitting a bag that's not hitting back. You're comfortable. You're just flowing and shit. So you don't really take. Okay, I get it. You're in fucking shape. You're a professional boxer. I expect you to be in shape for a world title fight. Yeah, you should be in shape. So you don't really learn anything, or I don't take much from it. Wow, he's hitting a fucking punching bag. Whoa, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna lose my mind, right? But um, both fighters look ready. Like I said, I spoke to Brian Norman Sr. just before he left to go to Rio and meet up with his. He was gonna meet up with his son later on that day, and then I think they were out a couple that next day or a couple days later out to Rio season. And then Bill Haney comes out and says, "You guys finally got here. We've been here, and this, that, whatever." And they're both out there right now. And I wish both men luck. Absolutely. I wish both men luck in this epic showdown. But it seems to be the fight and the talk of the town is this fight right here. In fact, stop the cap, he says. He did look way bigger. It was 165 he weighed in. I see you. Hold on, give me a second. Low nose boxing. What's up, brother?
Can I talk to your son? Your son.
What up,
What's
baby?
good, bro?
What's good? What's
Chilling,
good?
man. Chilling. Can't wait for Saturday, man. Saturday, we're going to get the sixth king. Brian Norman Jr., a.k.a. Mini Marvin Hagler, after he knocks out Devin the Dream, Debo Haney, he's going to become the sixth king. He's going to join T.O., Devin, Tank, Shakur, and Keyshawn. That's the six kings in this generation, in my opinion, from the guys between 135 and 140 and
Wow, you gave
147.
you gave Keyshawn Davis the pass with one belt and losing his belt on the scale. You named
Yeah,
him a you named him a king,
the
and
reason why I say that is because he's accomplished, right? He's done more than Ryan Garcia, but yet people were calling Ryan Garcia a king. Keyshawn is a real threat. Keyshawn is capable of knocking off his contemporaries. He's a rival with Tio. He's a rival with Shakur, and he's a real fighter with skills. He's among the same age bracket as those guys, so I'm gonna put him there. And he did, even though he hasn't knocked out an elite level guy yet. But in a way, he did do good because he beat the guy that beat Subriel. He knocked out retired Cambosos. You know what I mean? He got something. He did more than Ryan. People were calling Ryan the king. I never called Ryan the king.
all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So, respect low nose boxing, respect and everything, but I'm not gonna say that he's a rivalry of Keyshawn Davis when he's a little Call of Duty buddy. They're little friends. They've already said they won't fight each other. So he's not his rival. He's
My bad.
also he's also
I didn't
he's
mean
also
Keyshawn, bro.
right, right,
I
like
meant
like
Hitchens.
right,
I
okay.
meant Hitchens. That's what I meant to say. Not Keyshawn Davis. Richardson Hitchens. Excuse me. Apologize for
Okay,
that, brother.
and not Shakur. Okay, okay, I understand now. All
That's
right,
what I
but
meant to say.
so the only thing with Keyshawn is, uh because of his meltdown and the way he melted down, right? And he said he didn't want to pay sanction fees or why should he fight for another belt? It really turned me off to like his desire for being champion or becoming champion. Or was it just that he was he was embarrassed? He knew that the moment was gonna occur. He had to say something. We'll find out. You know what I'm saying? Is he a talent? Yeah. Did he fumble the bag? Yes. And is Abdullah Mason now taking his position right before our eyes? Pretty much
I don't know.
so. Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Um.
so
I retract what I said. The list that I said, did I put Keyshawn on the list?
You put Keyshawn versus Shakur, and you said he was on his
Oh
radar.
yeah, yeah. What I meant
Now,
to say, excuse me, what I meant to say, the Fantastic Six is Tio, Tank, Shakur, Devin, Hitchens, not Keyshawn, Hitchens, and soon to be, if Brian Norman gets the job done, I'm gonna have to put Brian Norman in there. My bad, Ryan. Ron. I didn't mean to say
right? Okay, okay.
Keyshawn
No,
has the intangibles, but he ain't. No, not yet.
okay, okay. So
I mean,
because we know, and people are gonna come at you and say it, and I'm not gonna let you be that way. Where you can clear it up too. You know what I
yeah, I
mean?
meant Hitchens. That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
absolutely. Because we all knew that they were little Call of Duty buddies and shit, and they was
Yeah,
never on the
yeah,
radar. But anyway,
yeah.
good thing now. One of the people in the chat, I think it's I can't see it from right here. Hold on, let me put it up here. Just want the truth. Says he didn't want the Abdullah smoke. And what do you think about that? Keyshawn Davis fighting against Abdullah Mason and their band of brothers. Or would you want him to stay away from him and try to go elsewhere and maybe let that fight marinate as two young fighters? What do you think about that fight? Abdullah
As a
Mason.
fan, as a fan of the sport, to see excitement, yeah, I'm okay with that fight. But in reality, it doesn't make business sense yet. For one, Abdullah Mason has not become a world champion yet. Keyshawn Davis, even though he won a belt, he fumbled a bag. He's more proven. Keyshawn is more of a fast track champion. He suffered a stumbling block along the way. I think he could bounce back. But Keyshawn is bigger fights, better fights for him. I would like to see Keyshawn go to 140 and challenge Richardson Hitchens. I'm okay with that. That's a good fight, being that Hitchens doesn't have anything significantly lined up. Everybody else, Tio and Shakur fighting, Devin and Brian Norman are fighting. Hitchens don't have nothing lined up. Shakur won't fight him at 135. He said if he beats Tio, he's going back to 135. That's why Tio beating Shakur is better for boxing because he could stay at 140 and finish fighting the guys up there.
Well, you know what I thought that was going on right now, and I gotta come out and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna put you under the gun, and you're gonna have to talk for your boy Tio here, because I'm gonna let you know we're gonna be talking about Tio right now. I hold on a second, Tio. You mean to tell me that you finally are announcing that you're fighting Shakur Stevenson because of the new arrival of the number one contender to your belt for the WBO is none and only Keyshawn Davis. So they upgraded Keyshawn Davis to the number one. That means that he is Teofimo Lopez's mandatory. That means the guy that smacked your dad, which is on record that Teo does not deny this, okay, that you guys sat next to each other, all of a sudden, to avoid the number one guy that's coming up, your guy, Keyshawn Davis, he says, I'll fight Shakur Stevenson. So if he doesn't get out of this fight with Shakur Stevenson and he doesn't walk down the aisle with Shakur, the guy behind him is your guy, Keyshawn Davis. They got your boy Teofimo Lopez surrounded. Where's his next option and what's the best fight? Let me know. Low nose boxing.
Teofimo's gonna tear through that wet paper bag, starting with Shakur Stevenson when he shocks the world. When he shocks the world and beats Shakur Stevenson, I'm confident that he's going to do that. And I'm not saying that to come off as a fanboy because I'm a realistic Teofimo Lopez fan. I'm not one of those guys that thinks he can beat Bud Crawford and Boots Ennis. But I confidently believe Tio focused, smokes everything moving from 135 all the way to 147. I'm confident Tio fights Shakur, which is probably going to be his most difficult fight out of all of them, and then he gonna smack I don't want to say it like that. He gonna outclass Keyshawn Davis if that fight ever happens. At the end of the day, and I say that look what we seen Saturday. We seen Jack Catterall looking like the white Jerron Boots Ennis under the tutelage of Bozy Ennis. So I'm gonna call him Jack Jerron Boots Catterall,
Did
right?
you see
And
that shit?
and that guy defeated that guy defeated a guy that retired Josh Taylor. Jack Catterall arguably beat Josh Taylor before Teofimo. And guess what? Arnold Barboza beat Jack Catterall. And guess what? Teofimo Lopez slapped Barboza up all over Manhattan and pitched a whitewash. Looked like Floyd Money Mayweather in there. Only got hit probably one time in that fight with a clean shot. So that goes to show you the skills of Teo, being that he did that to a guy that defeated Jack Jerron Boots Catterall. You feel what I'm saying?
All right, all right, all right. Before you put Jack Catterall on a pedestal, right? Remember, that's the same Jack Catterall that lost to Arnold Barboza, right?
Exactly.
That's the same Jack Catterall,
Teo
right?
destroyed Arnold Barboza.
Okay, but that's the same Jack Catterall that lost to Josh Taylor in the rematch. He beat him, whatever. It is what it is, right? Although I still think that Teal beat the better focus Jack Catterall. I mean Josh Taylor than Jack Catterall did. Because Josh Taylor didn't look like himself in that first fight with him. So you could see he was fucking off.
Yeah,
But
I
he
agree.
got focused. He got focused when he fought Teo. He really thought he can beat Teo, and Teo outfought him. I can tell you that much. I know what I saw. I know what I saw, but I also know what I see in Teo. Here's the problem with Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. The best thing that Teo does is he fights off of his back foot. He also improvises. He's a very crafty puncher, right? But Shakur Stevenson is an even better back foot fighter. He's even a better counter puncher than Teo, and he's even better craftier, right? So I said to myself, what is the difference between Teo and Shakur? Teo has God-given talent. Shakur Stevenson has God-given talent, but he's well trained. Where he has good training, but it seems like Teal's God-given ability got him where he is. He doesn't. You can see it that his improvising, his style, everything is just off his God-given ability because he's special. Teal's a special fighter. He just doesn't got that thing. So when I think of a fight like this, Shakur Stevenson proved to the world if he wanted to stand in front of you, he can. He did that with William Cepeda. He stood right in front of him, and he out punched him, out counter punched him. So Teo's got a lot of homework, but I'm going to tell you this much. I said all of that to say this. Now, what Teo has in his favor, Teo's just the bigger guy, and he's the bigger guy. Don't take away from Teo's power, guys. Please don't sleep on his power. He hasn't been knocking out guys because he's fighting better quality opponents. Trust
He
me.
been on the back foot also round one. When you on the back foot, it's not as easy to generate the kind of power. And then the other guys that he didn't knock out went in there to survive. They went in there to do a William Skull.
No,
Jermaine
they're not
Ortiz,
going to stand in front of Teo neither.
yeah, but they went in there. Let's face it, Jermaine Ortiz fight. Jermaine went in there to survive. He didn't go there to win that fight.
Nah,
I don't
he
care what
didn't go
anybody
in there
says.
to survive. Jermaine was fighting him, but Jermaine was fighting smart because Jermaine felt Teo's power.
That's what I'm saying.
He couldn't stand in front of Teo.
That's why
You
his
know what I
power
mean?
is underrated because they're moving from Teo for a reason. At the end of the day, because we've never seen Jermaine fight like that. Jermaine Ortiz, every time I've seen him fight, he's a boxer, but he's also a dog. He showed it against Lomachenko. He showed it against the other Puerto Rican kid. I forgot his name from Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? He showed the dog before. And same thing with Sandor Martin. Sandor Martin can box, right? He showed dog. He stood in there with Mikey and boxed him. Mikey's a known puncher. He stood in there with Puello. As soon as Tio touched him with something, you've been in the ring round one. You know how it is.
Yeah,
Sometimes you can just catch somebody's punch like that. And you like, oh, that guy can punch. I don't
yeah.
want to get hit with that. Why you think when Loma fought Tio for the first 6 rounds, Loma stood away? Because every time he would try to punch, Tio was countering on him. You know what I'm saying? They running from Tio for a reason. He's not a Tank Davis puncher,
No,
but he
yeah,
got enough power to hurt you and get your respect and knock you out if he hits you with something you don't see.
yeah. Those are Teo's big moments you were talking about there. Teo with La Loma, Loma couldn't even get the engine started because Tio kept switching gears on him, going high, low, pressuring him, staying away.
He took the
Loma couldn't
angle
get a
away.
beat. He couldn't get a beat on him. He couldn't get a
He took the
beat,
angle away.
and Tio kept spinning Loma. He kept
Yeah,
spinning him in the ring. So Loma, it took him a while just to say fuck it and then bite down on the mouthpiece. What he had to do, and then he started winning some rounds on Tio. But it
yeah,
showed that Tio's a real dog. Yes,
because he was able to readjust in the
yeah,
12th round.
no,
Exactly.
I take nothing away from Tio as a fighter, of course. You know what I'm saying? And we're just sitting here talking the viewpoints on the guys, right? Yes, he fights off the back foot, Tio, right? Problem? You got two guys that love to fight off the back foot because Shakur Stevenson lives in the pull counter fighting style where that he steps in front of you and he hits you with the jab, he moves in his back leg, and then he moves with his front leg. With doing so, he's gonna create he's gonna build a lot of distance and he's gonna
He
get
measures distance. He's gonna be
yeah,
a master
he's
at that.
he's gonna be on you real fast. You're not gonna understand it. Then what he's gonna do is he's gonna lean forward. You're gonna snap. He's gonna pull with his waist. Your punch is gonna come this close, and he's gonna hit you. He lives there. That's what Shakur does. He's made that's his bread and butter. That worries me with Tio because Tio never does really good with a boxer. As far as fighters like Sandor Martin and the point that you brought up with Sandor Martin, I finally found out what Sandor Martin was. He's a great boxer, but he's not a closer. He's not a closer. He didn't close the fight in the Alberto Puello fight. He had that fight won, and he didn't close the fight in the Tio fight. Neither. And he let both of those fights get out of his hands because he doesn't know how to close the show. And Tio, being the fighter that he is, whether he was, I don't, that was the fight that he said, "Do I still got it?" When you hear a fighter say that, you maybe some things are going on in your personal life. You weren't able to train as much. I don't know, but you could tell something was going on with Teal.
Well, a lot
When
of
a fighter's
fighters
saying
question
that,
themselves before. You might not hear them verbally question themselves. At the end of the day, these guys are human beings, bro.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure Shakur questioned himself before, but Shakur didn't say it verbally. Teal's the kind of person where he talks sometimes and he says things and he wears his heart on his sleeve. Now, to reiterate on what you said as far as the game plan, I agree with you. If Shakur can effectively get the distance right, he can win the fight, right? What Teal will have to do is not come in straight because Shakur pulls back straight. Teal will have to come in from different angles, use his athleticism. Now, if they're in the middle of the ring going counter for counter, I give Teal the edge because Teal is a little bit faster with the fast twitch counters. Now, if he's chasing Shakur and Shakur's popping him from the jab and moving around, I could give the edge to Shakur because Teal until then hasn't shown that he knows how to effectively cut off the ring. That's why he shouldn't try to do that in the fight. He has to mix up his aggression, let his hands go in combinations because Shakur will block one punch, two punch at a time. You let off some combinations, you're gonna get something through. And then step back and let Shakur try to come to you as well and try to run him into some shots. He's gonna have to bring everything out. He's gonna have to bring out the slick Gordo style along with the takeover Tio style, let his hands go in combinations, a la Sugar Ray Leonard when he fought Roger Mayweather. That's why Sugar Ray is one of the few guys that I would pick to beat Floyd Mayweather because he's not going to go in there and throw one, two punches at a time. He's going to throw punches, but even if you're defending him, my punches is landing, hitting your arms or something is getting the attention of the judges. You feel what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
You can't go in
But
there one shot at a time with your core. It's not going to work that way. It's
no,
not.
I don't think you're gonna be able to do that. But I think that if the fight is made, let's just say if. I mean, we've been down this road with Tio, unfortunately. We here around One Sports Tio, you the fans. I let you guys know, and I'll remind you guys that Teofimo Lopez once upon a time had almost what they said a done deal to fight Subriel Matias. Fight never came to fruition. They were like at the closing. That never occurred. Tio has been in several fights where that they were going to make these kind of big fights happen, and it has not happened. So for that, Tio has built this kind of stigma on him.
Yeah, he
So
has.
so
He
so
has.
what I gotta do, protecting myself. And my insanity is just wait. Sometimes I gotta say until I see them walking down, be announced to the ring, I don't believe the fight's happening. I've gotten to that point with some fighters and some promotional companies. You
You
know,
have the right to feel that way, man, because like I said, based on the past, that's why I'm not quick to crown any Puerto Rican fighter that looks good as the next great Puerto Rican because I was guilty of every time I seen a good Puerto Rican on the rise after Miguel Cotto's run, I was on the hype train. I'm gonna give you an example. Once upon a time, Thomas Delorme was looking like he might be the one, right? And then when he got knocked out by the Argentine dude, broke my heart.
mhm,
Another one that was coming up, Felix Verdejo. I was on the hype train, let me down. Another one, um, Pidufo, right? Pidufo Diaz, Christopher Diaz. You know who he is.
mhm.
I was on the hype train. Oh, he looks like the next Cotto slash Danny Garcia. Let me down. Then there was the other one, they're brothers. Damn, I forgot his name. That's how much he fell off. The one that fought Jermaine Ortiz, right? Him let me down. So I'm not quick to jump on any Puerto Rican fighter now just because he's Puerto Rican. I gotta see something. See, when I saw Cotto with just 3 fights, I knew Cotto was gonna be special, right? I was never on the Xander hype train, but now he's looking like he's a world champion. I want to see what Xander Zayas does. Subriel Matias, I was on a hype train for a little bit, just not against certain guys. But Subriel, to me, he's gonna be all right, but he seems very limited, sort of like Juan Manuel Lopez. He's not that type of special because Puerto Rican fighters don't have a stigma like Mexicans. They say the Mexican style. When Puerto Rican fighters are great, there's multiple style Puerto Ricans. We had pressure come forward guys like Trinidad. We had slick boxers like Benitez. We had super athletic guys like Camacho. We had a mixture of boxer puncher with body punching with Hector Camacho and Wilfredo Gomez. Puerto Ricans at the best had various styles. There was not one particular style. The only thing that Puerto Rican fighters have in common is that big left hook. But other than that, they come in different styles, man, different packages.
Well, as far as your analysis there on Subriel Matias, what I have to say about that is that it's remarkable that everybody knows what you're gonna do in your fighting style. They just can't stop you. You see, and that's kind of impressive to me when everybody can sit there and say that Subriel Matias is one dimensional and that a boxer would be his kryptonite. But one of the best boxers in the division at 140 pounds is Alberto Puello. And Alberto
Mhm.
Puello went in there with that boxing shit, and Subriel shut that shit down. And if
Yeah, he
you
proved me
really go
wrong.
at that fight with unbiased eyes, you see Sabriel actually win like 8 of those rounds, right? And it's like he like you can see it. And he and when it's like Errol Spence Jr. for a long time, you knew exactly what he was gonna do. You knew the fighting style he was gonna fight you. You knew the way he was gonna fight you. You just couldn't stop it. And Subriel Matias is a lot more craftier and a lot more elusive and defensively style than people give him credit. He's always on the inside, so you see his head snap back a lot because he takes a little bit of damage. But and then he seems to be getting this stigma. But it's amazing how they know exactly what he's going to do. He's not this kind of fighter. He's one way. But listen, if I told you he is the WBC current world champion of the world, and he seems to be going on another title defense. So
I
for as
hope he
long
wins
as
that fight, man. I hope
so
he
as long
does.
as we have him, because he's gonna be all of like what 33 or something. Like I don't know how much longer we're gonna have Subriel Matias, and then we got our next wave, of Puerto Rican fighters that are coming up, and I have my fingers crossed for a lot of those young men and women that are coming up, holding the flag. And then another thing that you said about our style as Puerto Rican fighters. Puerto Rican fighters are they're students to boxing. They're like a type of culture of people that they can flow anywhere. They can adapt to any style. They can take pieces from all styles and we can mimic it just like we do in every culture. You see us from the darkest of the darkest with afros, from blonde hair and blue eyes and looking like Indian, and your uncle being called Chino. All right. We imitate all cultures. You know what I'm saying? We imitate all styles because we can adapt to anything. So it's hard to tell us apart because we're always in it to win it. Puerto Rico fighters always hold their weight. They always have. They've always been great champions and real threats. So it's no secret. It's not like I'm sitting here telling you guys something new. No, I'm not saying anything new, or I'm not saying anything special that you don't already know.
Let me ask you something. How
Yeah.
would a prime Hector Camacho? We're talking about Camacho
No.
between the years of 130 and 135 do in today's 135 landscape.
Okay, because of the fact of my father, who my father was, and because I know about Camacho a little bit more intimate than probably the the casual fan and shit. I know about Camacho. I know his wife, and I know she always used to say Camacho would only train 3 to 4 weeks out from the fight, if that. She said once Camacho hit like his star status and the women, the drugs, everything took over, he wasn't like the one he was when he was in the like his early part. Now, if you
That's
go
what I'm
watch
talking about. The
Camacho,
135, the
no,
130,
130, no,
135.
that he was a different animal. Nobody beats him.
That's what I'm saying. The one that
No,
fought, like
no,
one of my
no,
favorite fights. That's what I'm
no,
saying. He would do good. He would do great. It
nobody
just
beats him. No, no, he was different. Camacho was special, special. If if you're training, the remnants of your training you cut off right there, carried you through that the rest of your career. Imagine how great he would have been.
imagine if he would have lived a Floyd Mayweather type of life with
If
the
he,
natural
oh my God,
athleticism, with the gift that he had, bro. Camacho could cut distance. He knew how to
yo,
come forward when he had to. He let off combinations. He had very underrated power. One of my favorite fights to this day, round one, was Camacho versus Edwin Rosario, another Puerto
oh
Rican
that
favorite
yeah.
of ours.
I think he lost in that fight, but still, that
I
see
did.
that was Camacho. That was Camacho fucking off. Okay, against Edwin Rosario, he was already deep into drugs. The women, his wife already was. He wasn't coming home. Camacho like he like the best of them, like that kind of world, pulled from you and you didn't train as much. And I'm here personally telling you, God rest his soul, that I personally know that she would tell us that he would train like 2 weeks, 3 weeks out from the fight. He would finally start training. That's
It's
how
crazy
give
that he still had the endurance to still
that
remember. It's
yes,
not like he fought at a slow pace. The guy was on his toes for 12 rounds.
I'm trying to tell you that's how special he was. That's my point. That's
Yeah.
how special that man was.
Kev, I gotta get
Imagine.
off right now because I'm at the job right now. My break is
Yep.
over, bro. But
All right.
nevertheless, man. Yo,
Yeah,
round one,
man. Hey, yo, no doubt, my
can I
dude.
tell? Yeah, yo, can
No,
I tell the people where they can find me at?
absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, y'all can find me Low Nose Boxing on Instagram and on YouTube as well.
That's what's up. That's my
Yo,
man, Lowe's
God
Nose
bless, round one.
Boxing.
You know
Hey,
I rock
hey.
with you, man. And by the
All
way,
right,
man,
brother.
you got robbed, bro. It's
I
justice
think
for
I
round
did.
one. Justice for round one, man.
Hey,
Yo,
yo,
stay,
it
man.
is,
Yeah,
baby.
bro.
My dude. Salute. One. Yo, and that's a good topic and shit, like Camacho and shit, and some of your best fighters. If you happen to know those fighters and you're from their neck of the woods, and you want to share something about a moment in boxing, share it, share it. Sometimes these statute of limitations are over with. I don't feel ashamed of saying this and knowing that I know this because God rest his soul, he passed away, and but Camacho was just a special talent and shit, but he was ridiculed by the people that were closest to him. He never really trained, man. And that was amazing that he was able to pull that shit off without training. Imagine if he was dedicated, like training, like in there, like a Xander is right now with his team. Like if he had his head on straight like that, oh my God, Camacho would have been crazy. And here's some food for thought. Here's some food for thought, just in case you want to know. You guys do know that Hector Camacho got belts in 7 weight divisions. You guys do know that, right? He has world titles in 7 weight divisions, but he only had 3 major world titles in 3 weight divisions. The other 4 weight divisions are minor titles. The titles are minor. But he did fight in 7 weight divisions. Hector Camacho. I'm just letting you know. He fought in 7 weight divisions. Yeah. He got belts in all of them. He didn't get major world titles in all of them. He only got major world titles in 3 of them. That's it. He's a 3-division world champion, Hector Camacho. Yeah, but he got belts in 7. Yeah, just food for thought, you know? Ness won't show footage. No, I think he dropped my fight already. He dropped my fight with OC the Boss. I think his editor put out my fight. I saw it one day and then I didn't see it no more. I'm not sure if he took it down or whatever, but when my fight kicked off and shit, Ness was yelling, "Nah, that was a slip." And when they tried to award him the knockdown, the crowd was booing. Remember that. The crowd was boo. The crowd was trying to tell the ref that they saw where I stepped in the divot and twisted my ankle. And the punch that he hit me, I threw the punch first. His hand hit on top of my punch. It looked like it hit the side of my, it really didn't. The punch that they were saying that dropped me was the one that he went in the stomach, and that missed. When you go back and you watch it, he misses me. So that's why the crowd was saying, "No, boo, it was a slip." And then they awarded him a standing 8 count for me breathing, for me taking a deep breath when the referee halted the action to tell me about the uppercuts I was hitting him with, because I had my hand behind his head like this. So it wasn't like I took a breath in the action. So I thought I could just take a breath, but I didn't need the referee's help. You gave me 8 seconds. You think 8 seconds regenerated me? No. If you would have moved out the way, I was going to bang with him just like I did after that 8-second count. I slugged it out with him all the way, bro. All the way through. And he wins the fight on moments he didn't really earn. He didn't earn that knockdown, and he didn't earn that standing 8 count. I felt like I earned the first round. I earned the second round. I beat him. With them 2 knockdowns, they award him the victory. I was like, man. But, yo, you take them knockdowns away that he didn't earn, he didn't beat me. All his greatest moments, even when my ring, I had it tied to my shoe, it pops off, that I'm trying to look down like, yo, that's my wedding band. He tried to punch me in the face. Dirty boxing. Like everything he got off on me was given or cheap. Because when he hit me with his best shot, if you go back and watch it, he hits me good. With that right hand, he was hitting me clean with that right hand. He hit me like 4 or 5 times with that right. But the problem was when he hit me with his best shot, when he hit me, boom, I went boom. Ah, shit. And I was standing in the pocket. He didn't think I was that strong. He was like, "Oh shit, round 1 strong as fuck." I was like, "Bro, I try to tell you." And I was punching at like 45, 50%. Remember that. I couldn't just haul off and punch him because I was scared I was going to gas out. Had I thrown like 3 power punches, like boom, 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 like I probably would have gassed out. Yeah. So I had to be a little bit methodical. I was just letting the 1-2 fly. Ba-bam, ba-bam. That's just me throwing my 1-2 at a normal rate. That's how I fight. But if I was to like had confidence in my stamina, I only had 2 months to prepare for the fight. If I would have had confidence in you would see me punch, really punch. He never got my power. I never hit him with my power. Not one time in that fight. To anyone that thinks that I was punching strong and that I was throwing everything with power, no. That's me throwing everything mid. Trust me. You want to see me? See, like, the statute of limitation is over with. I'll really show you what I look like punching a bag. Now I'll show you. All that shit I was showing you, that was just that. Most of that shit was me warming up. Tomorrow I'll go to the gym. I'll turn on this camera. I'll show you what I look like punching a bag. I'll show you the real shit. But I couldn't do it. I let go. Like I try to let go. 3 punches, bro. I'll be huffing and puffing in that corner. He'll be beating the shit out of me. So I had to keep it together. Because I was like, damn, boom, 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 you know? So, but I hit him with some clean shit. When they awarded him that knockdown, I swung like a 60% shot, but I missed it. There's one of them punches in between that shit. I let go. I did. I let it go. It was like a 60-70%. If I hit him with that shit, he was going to feel it. Trust me. Because I know I let it go. I was like, mother. And I was like, but then I got gassed a little, right? So I remember I slowed down in the moment. You know what I mean? I remember that. Because the one good bomb, if you go back and watch it in the 3rd round after they give me, I think it's the second one for breathing, the second knockdown. No. It was just before that. It was in between the first knockdown and the second one. It was in between that. You can tell which shot it is. I let it go. But I missed him. I was like, fuck. Had I hit him with that shot, I would have really got his attention. Yeah. But I never really hit him with anything big. Nah. I hit him with some good shots. Afterward, he walks up to me. He goes, "You hit me in my arm, man. My fucking arm went numb." He told me his arm went numb. I started laughing. I was like, "Bro, man, you lucky, man. I try to work with what I had. I knew inside I wasn't willing to give up. I knew inside I showed up for the fight. I knew I was gonna fight a dude that, at 180 pounds, everybody hits hard, bro. Those punches are not easy, bro. That shit hurts. You know what I mean? I'm built for fighting. This is what I do. This is what I want to do. And I'm still strong. I could take my punch resistance was there and everything. I'm not fighting a guy 130 pounds. I'm not fighting a guy 150 pounds. I'm fighting a guy 180 pounds. I weighed in at 181. These are not little punches, bro. I didn't go to fight a fucking little dude at 122. Nah, my first fight is 180. We big boys. We in there. You can see us. None of us was little. So it was like, and I probably came into the fight 185 because I went out and ate a hell of a breakfast right out the weigh-in at 7 a.m. I ate a crazy meal, stupid meal. We had bacon. I had side eggs. I had fucking home fries. I had French toast. He had pancakes. We had like a huge fucking, man. I must have weighed 185 when I fought him. Easy. So, you know what I mean? So these are not little punches, bro. But yeah, man, I felt like I did great. I didn't want to lose that way. It took me a while. Like I was a little down on myself. I didn't really want to talk to nobody. Everybody said that I was still a winner. They feel like I got robbed. They want to see the rematch. But no matter what they said to me, I wanted that win. I didn't get the win. Cool. I didn't get the win. But I hope that I showed a great account of myself. I hope I look better than some of these content creators that go out there and try to be tough for their girlfriend. And go out there and and they look real stupid, sloppy. No, I told you guys I was a boxer at one time. I hope at least I demonstrated that. And that I made a good account at 51 years old. I hope I did, you know what I mean? And I think I did do that. I think I look better than most 51-year-olds there are in this world. Or how many 51-year-olds were willing to do that? Shit, I know 30-year-old dude, they're not willing to do that. So, you know, I'm not trying to like be better than anybody, but I'm just trying to show what I talk about. This is what this is what I really do. I'm really about this life. This is what I do. I don't just talk it, I walk it. And I proved it. I went down there, no coach, no family, no nothing. I don't need any of that. Not that I wouldn't like it. No, I would have liked that. Yes. But that doesn't move me. I didn't fight this because I want to impress my girlfriend. No, I wanted to fight because I wanted to fight. Period. There was no backing out of this fight. As long as he made it, oh, we were going to fight. I promised you guys that, didn't I? That I told you, that's all I was. Just an old fighter sitting on the couch with no fight. And they said, hey, you want to fight? Me? Why, yes. I thought you would never ask. Oh, I would love to get in there and punch you in the face. Man, listen. Why not? And that's just, you know what I mean? And that's, I wasn't trying to prove nothing to nobody. I wasn't trying to show off. I didn't do this for none of that. 100%. I did this for me. For me. This is all mine for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself. I had a blast, man. I had an amazing time. Went out there to Atlanta, met a lot of people. Like I said, I didn't get the outcome I wanted, but I had an amazing time. It really pushed me to a place, where, it questioned who I was. Was I gonna make this fight? Yo, I sustained a lot of injuries trying to prepare for this fight. I ripped both bottom of my feet, tendons in both bottom of my feet. I couldn't even bounce that much, bro. It hurt to even stand on my feet, man. You guys have no idea. Then I got a rip in my shoulder. I had to get that black tape. Yo, that shit worked. That shit worked. I didn't feel my shoulder, man. Yo, that shit was hurting, aching all night. I couldn't even sleep on it. It hurt so bad. I got arthritis, tennis elbow, and this elbow right here. But none of that was gonna stop me. None of that shit. If I had one good arm and one good eye, fight on. That's it. I was gonna take a chance. It didn't matter, bro. I wanted to fight, bro. So all I wanted to do is fight. They were like, how much did they paying you? You don't gotta pay me nothing. Nothing. I keep the money you make from it. So all money ain't good money. I never asked for a penny. I didn't get into this for the money because I needed your money. No. No, 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 no. This was all me, baby. You know what I'm saying? And you weren't gonna take that from me and try to hide it behind. He did it because they paid him. No. So but I had an amazing time. I had an amazing time, and I want to do it again. Yes, little down on myself. I came here and I fucking binged out. I've been eating snacks, all kinds of snacks. Like I went through those 2 or 3 days where I was like, watching the fight over and over. Like, how did I lose? Like, right? Yeah, I became him. Yes, that was me. And it's funny, like, how competitive I am. Like my wife comes home from work and she had to take the remote away, stop watching it. She takes it off. She's laughing and shit, and but it's just competitive, man. That's all, bro. You know what I mean? For real, man. Uh you know what I mean? That's all it is. Just competition, man. I had an amazing time. I can't complain. She tells me to look at the good in everything. not to be so hard on myself, not to always look at the bad and stuff, you know. So, I'm trying to like keep my spirits up about it, but it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? Former Golden Glove champion acting like this, acting like what? Yeah, have Musty Marco coaching me. Musty Marco, man, he ain't helped me out at all, man. And the third round, I needed coaching. That's where I needed coaching. I look back at the fight, and right at the third round, I started circling just before I like tripped like that. In the third round, I needed for him to say to me, because I was really tired in the third, going into the third round. I was like exhausted. My face was real red at the time. I was trying to hide it. I was trying to like put my glove in front of my mouth, not to show him how hard I was breathing. Whenever I was exhausted, I turned around and I put my head down in the corner, not to show the crowd how exhausted I really was. I got to the point where I actually thought I was going to pass out in the corner, but I kept it together. I kept it together. It really tested my ability whether or not I still wanted to be in the fight. It did. It really did. And I remember it took me to a real dark place. It did. I had to think of really nasty shit to keep myself in that third round. Uh type shit where you thinking of your kid hanging on a cliff. Would you be the father to save your daughter or son type shit? And you keep telling yourself, I'll be tired tomorrow. I'll die later. But I'm not giving you the satisfaction of making me quit. So I had to find some way to buy time. That's why I started circling. In that moment, I needed my coach to tell me what he saw in him. Stand in front of him like this, use your jab. He could have reminded me, yo, you've been going up top all night. Switch it up. Go downstairs to the body. You'll surprise him. If Marco said that, it probably would have alerted me to it. A lot of people were screaming things, but exhaustion blocks all that shit out. And all you're doing is trying to focus your last little bit of energy. But at the same time, I was fighting him. He would come in, I would just throw out, nah, fuck that, let's go. I wasn't letting the fight get away from me. I wasn't shying up. I wasn't being exhausted and just covering up. I was exhausted, but I was throwing. You see? I was still fighting exhausted. I was just finding a way. I was, fuck it, let's go. Boom, boom, boom. You know, I've been in plenty of fights. You know what I'm saying? I felt his power. I knew what he had to offer. He was gonna have, if you could put me down, show me. That's all. I stood right there with him. Let's go. That's it. I wasn't gonna shy away, nothing, but I needed coaching in that third round. I did. And that's where fucking Marcos really didn't, I didn't hear him at all. Like, when I don't know who the fuck this guy is, man. Like, but he still could have said something. He could have been like, yo, go downstairs to the body, something. Like, got in front of me, like his coach. He's in the corner over here. He doesn't even seem like he's engaging in the fight. I'm like here by myself. Get out in front of me. Block my path for they don't see me fucking dying of air. Do something. This motherfucker don't do shit. I'm just like, whatever, dude. But, for not having any coaching in like my corner, traveling out over there by myself and just fighting on my own sheer will, just me figuring it out right there in the moment. I think I did pretty good. I think I did pretty good. He had a better coach. He had a couple things, but it is what it is. It is what it is. You know what I mean? He got the victory, whatever. But yeah, man. Thanks, man. Thanks, Towers. Some of that stuff, it really like helps me, man, because like, you know, um, you know, it means a lot to hear the people like tell you, you know, uh, that you did good or you didn't, but at least be honest with you. And when I hear like everybody like, tell me how I did and stuff, it validates, that, um I didn't do too bad. I didn't do too bad, you know, and I would like to mix it up again. So, I was even asking my sister because my sister has her gym in Philly and we can mix it up out there too, and I was telling the fans that, I'm just like getting over my little slump. I try to be like it didn't really bother me type shit, but I'm a human. You know what I'm saying? I'm human and my competitive side is like, nah, fuck that shit. You know what I mean? But hey, it's over and done with. Uh, I had an amazing time, man. Thank you for watching the fight. Thank you for, supporting me, and believing in me and, and watching me. And I just hope that, what I'm saying, I was able to give a great account of myself and, make a lot of people proud too. In fact, that us old dudes, we could still mix it up, yeah. So it is what it is, you know. But hey, we got these amazing fights jumping off right now, with Brian Norman Jr. and Devin. This fight card is going to kick off. That Jack Catterall thing that he was talking about too. What do you guys think about Jack Catterall with Bozy Ennis now? Look how he looking, huh? He got it, yo. And is it the Bozy Ennis style? Because you see it with Andy Cruz, and now you see it in Jack Catterall. And the fighters that got sticky skills, that shit's starting to rub off on them. So, like let's see where this goes. So fight fans, thank you for tuning in. I thought to give you guys a night. I think Ness is currently moving or something, right? And I fixed up my studio. See the new look, and I lowered everything so that I could adjust my camera so that I don't look like that little in my videos. You know what I mean? So hopefully this adjusts everything better. I got a better view and picture. I like it. So fight fans, yo, what do you say right here? Let me see what he's saying. He says, is Haney ready going to win on a jab and on points? There's just well, you see, that's something that we want to see. Those are answers we want to see, right? You really think he can win this on a jab and, moving, sticking and moving and things like that? But we're trying to see what version of Devin Haney we're going to get. Are we going to get a more interacting Devin Haney, a guy that's going to try to take over the fight? We saw Devin Haney fight against strong guys like Regis Progress. He was a strong fighter, but not a very fast fighter. Devin was the much faster, and he peppered Regis Progress. That Regis Progress has a decent punch. He's got one punch knockout power. But you see how Devin Haney controlled Regis Progress, and he won the fight with the jab and not coming in for the kill and not giving Regis. Would he fight and be able to beat Brian Norman Jr. that same way? I'm not sure. I think Brian Norman Jr., his toughness is better than Regis Progress. I think his endurance, his mental fortitude, and his power carries a lot further. This is going to be an interesting fight. This is going to be an interesting fight. Listen, I can see this fight going both ways. I haven't really decided. I don't know. I don't know who wins this fight right now. Devin Haney should win this fight on paper, but Brian Norman Jr. is such a threat, and he has shown that he is developing into his pro style of fighting that you can't just count him out. He is the current champion for a reason, Brian Norman Jr. So, uh, when you got what happened to Devin Haney and him not really showing he has responded and been acting like Devin Haney into the equation, makes the fight that much more interesting now, doesn't it? Had none of that shit happened to Devin Haney, we probably would be thinking a little bit different now, wouldn't we? So there's a lot of factors that are weighing in into this fight that we're waiting to see. And some of these things can only be answered on fight night. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. I've been your host, Edwin. Please don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, become a Round One Sports